NBC News can now confirm that fashion designer Kate Spade was found dead in her apartment this morning.
Legendary designer Kate Spade became a worldwide household name, designing eclectic yet practical handbags.
Kate really defied the odds. She came to New York and she conquered the fashion world.
Her brand expanded into other ranges and opened stores worldwide.
Kate Spade was an inspiration to women all around the world.
But her international success masked a secret illness.
It appears at this point in time to be a tragic case of apparent suicide.
A lot of us knew there was a darkness around Kate, but nobody predicted this.
No one knew the demons that she was battling.
On the surface, Kate seemed like a very successful mother, wife, and businesswoman with no vices or medical problems at all. So what led Kate, in the prime of her life, to feel that she had no other option than to end it all?
World-renowned medical examiner and forensic pathologist Dr. Michael Hunter has conducted thousands of autopsies. Collaborating closely with law enforcement and other forensic specialists, his pivotal role in investigating suspicious cases has revealed the truth behind mysterious deaths for over 20 years.
Kate seemingly had it all: a loving family, a great career, wealth, and her health. So why did her life end so tragically? Using all the information available to me, I'm going to discover the reasons why Kate Spade took her own life.
February 2018, New York City, 4 months before Kate's death. It's New York Fashion Week. Famous brands are parading their fall collections. Kate Spade New York is celebrating its 25th anniversary with the relaunch of Kate's famous breakthrough hit, the Sam bag. But Kate, the woman who started the label, is not there. She's 1 mile away at her new fashion label, Frances Valentine. She and her husband Andy sold the designer brand that bore her name 12 years ago, and after 10 years out of the business, launched their new label in 2016. After months of hard work, Kate reveals her new collection of bags and shoes that will go head-to-head with her old company. She's under enormous pressure to produce a bag that will storm the market.
Kate had enormous pride and happiness starting something new. Kate and Andy are ambitious people. Their ambition never went anywhere. They needed a new vehicle to be creative.
She was itching to get back into fashion. She loved it.
She plugged the gaps in the market the first time around. But business is harder now and more competitive. Yet the team has high expectations for the new collection.
A lot of people that have struck gold once think they can do it again. The ambition was still there.
Launching a new business in the cutthroat and fickle fashion world can be a nerve-wracking and extremely demanding task. But at 55, Kate has the experience and seems to be physically fit, healthy, and is supported by a highly capable team. So I can't believe it was the pressure of her new business venture alone that pushed Kate to take her own life.
Catherine Noel Brosnahan was born on Christmas Eve, 1962, in Kansas City. She was the 5th of 6 children to Frank, a construction engineer, and housewife June. Kate was in awe of her mother.
I thought she dressed beautifully, and I just remember kind of watching thinking, I can't wait till I can do that. My mother was actually very good in encouraging me to dress.
Not that her siblings always agreed with her fashion choices.
My sisters would sometimes think, oh my God, you let her buy that fuzzy leopard coat at that vintage store. I thought, of course, I looked like Audrey Hepburn in this coat.
Won't you join me?
Kate and Andy met at college. They were sweethearts.
Kate studied journalism at Arizona State. After graduating, Andy formed an advertising agency, and Kate went to New York.
I had honestly did land at JFK for $7, and it cost $5 to take the bus to Penn Station, and I walked from Penn Station to my friend's apartment.
But she soon got a job at a temp agency.
They sent me to Mademoiselle magazine, and then I stayed there for 5 years.
Kate quickly learned the ropes and became senior fashion editor.
Kate knew accessories better than anybody. She knew what women wanted.
I used to talk about trying to get certain things for photo shoots that I couldn't find, or things that I wanted to wear myself that I couldn't find. So I was like, well, then try to see if you can do it yourself.
So in 1993, despite having no design or manufacturing experience, Kate, along with her friends and her boyfriend, now turned fiancé, Andy, set about designing some handbags.
I would take tracing paper and I would just, kind of measure it out to the exact shape that I wanted. And I would take them to a technical pattern maker.
Then, Andy had a stroke of genius.
Andy's background was from the advertising perspective. He knew how to sell products.
That's actually how we came up with the name Kate Spade. It was my first name, his last name, and it was before we were married, which was fine with me. But my mother, I think, was a little more concerned.
Andy thought, let's pop our label on the front. It gives us something to stand out, and it's also free advertising.
It became a trademark for everybody in the industry. After they did it, everybody started doing it.
Every fashion editor really deep down wants to be a designer, and Kate did it. They thought she was the next big American designer, the next big Ralph Lauren.
The bags quickly gained admirers.
The Kate Spade bag became what we called, a few years later, the It bag, because it was recognizable for its logo, for its playful colors, that kind of nylon canvas material that it was made with.
The company started in Kate and Andy's small apartment.
Andy actually took money out of his savings account just to help her build her brand. And then she had a great friend from college named Elise, and Elise helped her build the brand as well.
It was the hottest summer ever. It was 110 degrees outside, no air conditioning in the loft, and we were steaming wool bags. And complaining about it's not going to make it any better, so we'd laugh all day. It was just fun.
And their efforts soon paid off.
Other designers recognized that she was a force to be reckoned with. Now they have a woman setting a high standard for what a bag should be.
She had stores like Barney's and Fred Siegel purchasing the bags. It was a success.
Kate became the face of the brand, inspired by her idol.
Kate Spade fashioned herself and her look after Audrey Hepburn. Iconic, bouffant hair. Kate Spade wore that in a kind of updated way.
Awards followed, culminating in Glamour magazine's Woman of the Year in 2002.
She said we could do it. Remember, you and I discussed it.
She was the genius behind the design. He was the genius behind the brand.
And inevitably, they did marry.
Kate and Andy were portrayed in New York as the most perfect couple.
Their team grew. Their products expanded into accessories, shoes, clothing, and stationery, along with a chain of stores worldwide.
Kate really defied the odds. She launched Kate Spade, and it became a multi-million-dollar business.
She created a strong, powerful, sharp brand. To have done that as quickly as she did is really just phenomenal.
February 2018, the Frances Valentine offices, New York City, 4 months before her death. Despite high expectations for the launch of her new label, the publicity surrounding it is lower than Kate had hoped.
Kate was still operating in a world where she thought having a bag featured on page 59 of a magazine would change her life. It doesn't anymore. The world changed around Kate Spade. Kate hadn't.
But even with her first label, Kate didn't always have it easy.
When she first launched, the industry loved her, and the more successful she became, the more people started to resent her. One of the reasons was just simple jealousy. She was one of us who'd got a little bit too big for her britches.
The industry's feelings towards Kate were made painfully obvious at a fashion awards ceremony in 2004.
I was at the Met Ball. Kate was stuffed in the corner by the bathrooms. Kate was devastated about it. The fashion community were always respectful, but as a friend of mine said, it was a kiss on the cheeks, not a kiss on the lips.
So launching a new brand now is going to be an uphill struggle.
The start of the second company was a big disappointment. I think Kate wanted this to be a rebirth, a new period in her life, and it never quite took off.
It's clear that Kate had high levels of expectation for her new label, and any sign of failure could cause crushing disappointment. But anyone who's been in business for as long as Kate had would surely be used to the ups and downs of the fashion trade. But I have here a statement made by her husband, Andy, after her death, and in it he states, there were personal demons she was battling, and I need to investigate these further.
Beloved fashion designer Kate Spade committed suicide in her apartment on June 5, 2018. She was 55 years old. Now, renowned medical examiner and forensic pathologist Dr. Michael Hunter is studying first-hand testimony to discover what led her to take her own life.
So far, I've discovered that Kate was struggling to replicate the phenomenal success of her first company, Kate Spade New York, with her new label, Frances Valentine. But for someone as experienced as Kate was in the fashion business, I can't believe this alone would cause her to take her own life.
February 2018, New York City, 4 months before her death. Kate feels that her traditionally loyal customers don't realize she's moved on to the new brand, Frances Valentine.
A lot of people didn't realize that Kate Spade was no longer with Kate Spade and that they'd launched this new brand.
And I think the consumer was rightfully confused.
They weren't suffering from a business crisis, but they're suffering from an identity crisis.
To resolve the consumer's confusion, Andy decides to educate the public.
It's a very tricky story for an advertiser. You've started a new brand, pretty much doing the same thing, shoes and bags, but you've got a different name.
Andy launches this sort of ad campaign on Twitter where he's searching for Kate. He's the investigator and he's asking, where is Kate? That must not have made her feel good.
In Kate's husband's statement, he said that she had a history of anxiety. So I need to see what the factors that led to her anxiety were and how they manifested themselves in someone whose public image epitomized a joyful perspective.
You ready? Okay.
I'd never met anybody so decent and quirky. She was cheeky and naughty, funny.
Oh boy.
But Kate was tough. You don't get to run a company that big unless you're tough.
Overseeing the successful international fashion brand of Kate Spade New York meant huge responsibilities.
Kate was the type of woman who would be up in the middle of the night worrying about her fashion brand, worrying about everything, really.
This makes it too pops out, yeah.
Kate once explained to me that her name was on every single product. So when the customers didn't like it, she felt as if they didn't like her. She took it very personally.
The pressure of thousands of products bearing her name might have explained some of Kate's personality traits.
Kate was such a control freak. She knew where every book was, everything in the office. She even knew how long she wanted the stems of her flowers, her peonies. Even they were dictated. If you rearranged stuff on her coffee table, which I used to do just to annoy her, she would notice the minute she walked back in.
Perfectionism is a means to try and control our world. And one of them is micromanaging. Another one is feeling that you've got to be perfect. Being a perfectionist can be hugely debilitating, actually, in its own right. In fact, we know that women tend to be more perfectionist than men. And we know that having high levels of perfection can actually lead to anxiety disorders.
Perfectionism is a well-recognized cause of anxiety, as the associated parts of the brain affected are controlled by the stress hormone called cortisol. When the body is stressed, the cortisol levels go up. However, as the stress increases, so too does the body's sensitivity.
You had to be very careful what you said around Kate. She would remember one sentence that was a little off, and she'd think about it for weeks and call you up and call you out about it. She was a really sensitive person. There was times when she seemed like she had the troubles of the world on her shoulder. Her feelings could get hurt very, very easily.
In a recording made a year before her death, Kate admitted to the constant pressure that continued throughout her life.
Is there anything you know now that you wish you had known back then?
yes, to worry less. I wish I worried less. I think I worried throughout the company and still do. Yeah, still do.
Sensitivity is interesting because in order to be sensitive, in some ways, you're hyper aware of your surroundings and you're quite empathic as well, right? So you pick up on things and you feel feelings perhaps a little bit more deeply. And so you tend to ruminate more. So you're constantly worrying and you constantly kind of have that feeling of unfinished business that can feed into anxiety.
Although it appeared Kate thrived in her work, it seems some of the trappings of her success were less welcome.
The trouble was, Kate never wanted to be a celebrity. When we went to restaurants, she didn't like people staring at her. She didn't like photographers taking her picture. She was the most reluctant celebrity I ever worked with.
In the fashion business, it's very important to network and to get out and let people know who you are. You also want to mingle with other designers, and Kate didn't really want to do that much.
You're a natural introvert. You don't want to feel exposed. You kind of have a hypersensitivity to feeling exposed. And all of a sudden, everyone wants to know about you. Everyone wants a piece of you. It's a really uncomfortable position to be in.
I can see a way that Kate might have handled her increasing levels of anxiety by using alcohol as a form of self-medication. Both acute and chronic alcohol consumption are associated with suicidal behavior. Being intoxicated is thought to drastically increase suicide risk compared to abstinence.
Kate loved a drink. She could pour a fabulous martini. She knew where to put the olive. She could twist the lemon. Kate knew her way around a well-stocked bar. Booze and cigarettes and fashion and glamour. I felt like I was living in a movie whenever Kate was around.
But Kate shied away from the world of celebrity, even though she still enjoyed some showbiz luxuries.
When I traveled with Kate, she was always quite lonely, and it was not unusual for my phone to ring about 7 o'clock after a long day of work and her invite me up to her suite for a martini and dinner. I spent many a night sitting with Kate in a hotel room.
While I can see Kate enjoyed a drink or two, Andy's statement said there was no alcohol abuse, so I can discount alcohol as playing a role in her death. However, a major factor in suicide is failing relationships, and I can see Kate's worsening anxiety might have been affected by her marriage with Andy.
If I didn't know they were married, I could have thought they were brother and sister, best friends. I didn't witness any fighting, but I didn't witness any affection.
Even as far back as 2002, Kate admitted to relationship issues in this interview.
I think what we made the mistake of doing early on was taking every opportunity alone to talk about the business. At dinner, brushing your teeth, as you're getting into bed, as you're waking up. And I think we made a conscious effort to not do that because, it would burn us out.
One of the things that people that work together often speak about is the fact that, the us becomes bigger than the I. So when everything's done together, you lose yourself, and that becomes very, very hard.
And I can also see that the relationship issues Kate and her husband Andy were experiencing seemed to escalate in the year before her death. In Andy's statement, he reveals for the past 10 months, they've been living separately, but within a few blocks of each other.
We knew them together in New York, and to find out that it was over, that they had separated, was devastating for us. Her partner walks away from her, who's been in her life for 30 years. And when they split up, it must have felt like her heart broke in two. I can't imagine how alone Kate must have felt.
It's highly likely that the troubles within Kate's marriage contributed to her poor mental health. But looking deeper into Kate's past, it seems her continuing anxiety was just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh my God, Jerry! Stay with me, Jerry. I'm calling for help.
Maggie got to tennis practice?
And it looks like she remembered her bag.
Oh.
Knowing she's okay gives me such peace of mind.
I hear you. Guess we order out tonight.
Family proof your family with Life 360. When you're an American Express Platinum member, your monthly Walmart Plus membership is on us. And when shopping and delivery are handled by Walmart Plus, you have the freedom to enjoy more moments like this. One of the many great benefits of Platinum membership with American Express.
Much revered fashion designer Kate Spade committed suicide on June 5, 2018. She was 55 years old. Renowned forensic pathologist Dr. Michael Hunter is investigating the factors that led to her unexpectedly taking her life.
The causes of suicide are often complex. Each case is different and personal to the individual. So far, I've discovered that Kate had a long history of anxiety and was having relationship problems a year before her death.
May 13, 2018, Kate's apartment, New York City, 3 weeks before her death. Kate is at home with Bella, her housekeeper. She has worked with the designer for a few years and become a close friend.
It was quite common to see friends, housekeepers, people that walked her dog suddenly become really close friends.
They're such good friends that last year Kate named a pair of shoes after her, the Bella sandals.
It wasn't unusual for Kate to name bags or shoes after people in her life.
To the outside world, Kate appeared to have it all, but she had another side.
I knew from the day I met Kate, there was a darkness. There was a cloud of sadness around Kate. Kate as a person was much more dark than the image of the brand that she had around her. Often I just thought she was overworked, overstressed, but I think it was who she was.
Andy Spade's statement that, as well as suffering from anxiety, Kate had also been suffering from depression for many years. And I wonder what effect such a major, life-changing event as selling her company would have on her mental health.
I mean, is this something that you, as a girl, you dreamed, you'd be sort of doing this?
Love it. I mean, I'm not sure that when we started the company, I imagined, it getting to this point, but it's been fun. So far, it's been fun.
Kate certainly enjoyed running a successful fashion brand, but it was very taxing on her as well. It was stressful, and eventually that took its toll on her, and that's one of the reasons why she sold the company.
It was a great time for us to take a break, and it was much needed, and it was a great luxury.
In 2006, department store group Neiman Marcus completed its purchase of Kate Spade, New York, for approximately $93 million. Despite becoming a multimillionaire, walking away from the company Kate grew from scratch wasn't easy.
In my opinion, selling the company was the biggest mistake Kate ever made. This company was not just a job, it was her life.
She had lost more than the company that bore her name.
Kate knew her problems, and I think she managed very well with them by creating this company. The way that Kate survived was to create the world of Kate Spade. Once she left that world, she had nothing to replace it with.
And that included her world of friends.
She got up every day and went to that office. Kate had 50, 60 people around her on different floors. It was buzzing. It was like a factory of ideas. All her friends, all her acquaintances, everybody around her, including me, were on the payroll.
So when Kate sells the company, there's a real kind of shift. It would have been life-defining for her. This brand has her name on it. She's not involved in it anymore. You lose your identity. Not just your identity, but your day-to-day is bound up in that work. The things you take your self-esteem from are work. You go from that one day to kind of doing nothing the next.
After the sale, Andy continued to work in design consultancy, but Kate stayed at home.
She went from being one of the busiest people in New York to not having a job. And I think her life became very, very lonely. Kate was left with just herself and maybe her demons.
Depression is a mood disorder. In its mildest form, depression can mean just being in low spirits. At its most severe, depression can be life-threatening because it can make you feel suicidal. Its causes are complex, but can include a chemical imbalance in the brain. And this occurs when a person has incorrect amounts of neurotransmitters, such as serotonin. These are the chemical messengers that pass information between nerve cells. They work in conjunction with many other physiological factors that contribute to someone's overall mental health.
But leaving her company behind wasn't the only profound change Kate faced.
Kate took a break and took about 10 years off to be a mom.
In 2005, a year before selling her company, Kate gave birth to a daughter.
I found her to be just a normal mom, talking about the trials and tribulations of raising a child.
I got to go home and be a full-time mother, which was the greatest thing I've ever done, and adore it.
But without an extensive friendship network and her husband working full-time, raising a child could be difficult.
She really didn't bring too many people inside of her circle at that point. Being 42 and being a mother and not having a support system could be a challenge because simply you need help when you have children. You cannot do it alone. Kids are a handful because they want to touch everything and they want to eat everything. It's a lot, and it's all day long. They don't stop. I mean, people tell me all the time, oh, I want to sleep like a baby, but babies don't sleep.
That pressure of being a first-time mom and not necessarily having that huge friendship group of mothers around her, that would have absolutely been a difficult time for anybody going through that, especially if you dealt with sort of depression and anxiety in the past.
One savior was Kate's longtime friend and business partner, Elise Ahrens, who was also starting a family.
Kate and Lisa still stayed friends even after Kate sold the business. They hung out with each other. They went and did great things together as parents, as moms.
In this world, we think about the quantity of friends that we need, but actually it's about meaningful connections. It's not about quantity, it's about quality in order to kind of get through the hard stuff.
Despite seemingly enjoying motherhood, Andy's statement also said that Kate was taking medication for both depression and anxiety. While we don't know what they were, typical ones might have included an antidepressant such as a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor or an SSRI. SSRIs work by increasing the levels of the neurotransmitter serotonin in the brain, thereby enhancing mood. Despite SSRIs being classed as an antidepressant, they're prescribed for both anxiety and depression because of their effectiveness.
I knew Kate was depressed, and that must have got more and more difficult as her life got more and more lonely. Kate lived her life wanting to live up to this image she had created. She lived in the lap of luxury, but she sometimes felt it was like a prison.
Medication can take many forms. Lifestyle changes can often be a remedial factor. I can see in 2016, almost a decade after selling the Kate Spade label and when her daughter was 11, Kate returned to work.
Kate wanted a complete new beginning. She wanted to start fresh as a human being. I think a lot of people with mental health struggles are told to keep busy, to find something they love. It doesn't surprise me at all that Kate threw herself back into work. She was very creative. She needed an outlet.
But she still faced an uphill struggle.
Being a mother, when they go back into the workforce, can be a challenge. Can you still go back and still be as good as you were before you became a parent?
The second time around, it almost feels more personal. This whole kind of sense of self-doubt that's inevitable for any perfectionist, for any creative, that's going to be ever present as well.
Adding to the pressure of her return to work was the unusual issue of not being able to use her own name.
First time around it was, obviously, it was me. So we decided to name the new company Frances Valentine because Frances happens to be a long family name, and Valentine was my father's name because he was born on Valentine's Day.
Whereas the first one was kind of Kate, her, Spade, her husband, his last name. But actually, the name of the second business of Frances Valentine is even more personal. It doesn't incorporate her husband's last name, but critically, she actually incorporates Frances Valentine into her own name legally. So there's this kind of subconscious need to kind of reclaim her identity and make this about who she is.
So I thought I'd go down to the courthouse and change my name. Catherine, Noel, Frances, Valentine, Brosnan, Spade. I just feel that I'm in a different place.
I think this very much speaks to perhaps how personal this was for her.
Kate cared about what people thought of her, and to try and do something and fail is something that would really be painful to Kate. It looked like a hobby, and that's exactly what Kate would not want it to be. It would matter to Kate that this was not a vanity project. She did it so that everybody else knew Kate Spade was back.
Kate may have been back, but she was soon to find out it was now a different world.
The world was completely different to the world that Kate had left 9 years ago. All the bag of tricks that had worked for Kate and Andy once were no longer working. The new company they approached in exactly the same fashion as they approached the old company. This time, it didn't work.
The causes of depression that can lead to suicide are complex. Kate's life has fundamentally changed and become more complicated. However, I can see that there were other factors at work that would have a destructive impact.
We skip a lot these days. Skip the line, skip the song, you might even skip this ad. But skipping your dental checkups? No way! Especially if they're already covered by insurance. Regular checkups help keep your smile healthy and prevent more serious problems. Summit Dental Health makes it easy to schedule your checkup where and when you need it with several convenient locations. And some are even open early and late. So don't skip out on your smile. Schedule online at summitdentalhealth.net.
What a hotel. Right? And only $250 a night for my favorite site. What?
You didn't check Trivago.
I got mine for $155. You have to check Trivago.
Oh yeah? Prove it.
On Trivago, you can compare hotel prices from multiple different sites.
Even your favorite one.
Look, same hotel, $100 less.
You didn't check Trivago?
I didn't check Trivago.
Check Trivago to compare prices and save up to 40%. Hotel? Trivago.
Celebrated fashion designer Kate Spade committed suicide on June 5, 2018. Renowned forensic pathologist Dr. Michael Hunter is investigating the factors that led to her unexpectedly taking her life.
So far, I've discovered Kate suffered from both anxiety and depression. Some of the aggravations appear to have been the sale of her first company, plus the business stresses from forming her next company. And it seems her marriage to Andy was facing difficulties.
June 4th, 2018, New York City, the evening before her death. It's been 10 months since the separation. Kate is relaxing at home.
It was reported that Kate was planning college for her daughter the night before she died.
In husband Andy Spade's statement, he said he was in touch with her the night before, and she sounded happy.
June 5th, 2018, the day of her death.
It was a quiet day, a little hotter than normal. It was peaceful in the neighborhoods. People were busy going to work during their day-to-day.
Kate's daughter goes to school, leaving Kate to her daily routines.
Kate, I knew, had a regular hair appointment every week or every 2 weeks.
It's just past 10 o'clock in the morning.
Bella, her housekeeper, comes in just like any other day.
She goes to Kate's bedroom door, and she can't open the door. So there's a weight behind the door, but Bella can't physically push the door open, but she catches a glimpse of Kate.
She's alarmed, so she dials 911 to call the ambulance.
So in the meantime, while she's waiting for 911, she goes and finds a janitor in the building.
And he helps her, and he forces open the door.
The janitor pushes open the door, and they find Kate hanging from a red scarf.
Bella is horrified.
At about 10 hours this morning, members of the 19th Precinct responded to an address on Park Avenue. It appears at this point in time to be a tragic case of apparent suicide.
I remember the day that the news broke, and I didn't for 1 minute think she'd take her own life. If anybody had predicted this, we would have changed heaven and earth to stop it.
I remember where I was when I learned that she died. I was so shocked, and it was so sad and upsetting. I mean, I think people really felt like they knew her. People felt connected to the things she designed, and I think that made people really, really sad.
People were in disbelief and hurt. To lose her in such a way was heartbreaking.
There was a suicide note left at the scene. I'm not going to get into the contents of that note, but that appears to be the sum total of what it is at this point.
And for her to leave her final note was not surprising. Just heartbreaking.
In terms of contents of the note or communication with members of the family, I'm not going to get into that.
On the day after Kate's death, Andy Spade releases a statement to quell press speculation. In it, Andy said they were working through their problems and that they, quote, loved each other very much and simply needed a break. While the separation might be an issue, I think I may have uncovered something else that, if true, could be the answer to why she took her life.
On June 5, 2018, celebrated fashion designer Kate Spade committed suicide.
The reasons behind someone taking their life can be complicated. I've discovered Kate was a perfectionist, introverted, and suffered from anxiety with a history of depression. These symptoms classically go hand in hand with another serious mental condition. That's bipolar disorder. The term bipolar refers to the way your mood can change between two very different states, mania and depression. The main difference between bipolar disorder and major clinical depression is the presence of manic episodes. It's believed that bipolar disorder usually develops from a combination of the brain's chemical messengers, genetics, and life-based stresses. In fact, the day after Kate's death, her sister Rita Sappho claimed Kate was bipolar.
Her sister said she believed Kate was bipolar. I found that shocking she would say it, but not shocking that it would be true.
Another contributing factor might have been Kate's age. At 55, many women will have entered menopause by then. The transition to this stage is known as perimenopause. The level of the female hormone estrogen can rise and fall unevenly. As a result, mood changes can occur along with an increased risk of depression. These can become more complicated if women are bipolar. While I can't confirm this happened to Kate, these are potential risk factors. In fact, there is a higher rate of suicide in women aged mid-40s to mid-50s, and this may well be related to the biological changes associated with menopause. According to Andy's statement, he wrote, Kate suffered from depression and anxiety for many years. Her condition might have worsened, as he goes on to say, she was actively seeking help for depression and anxiety over the last 5 years, seeing a doctor on a regular basis and taking medications for both depression and anxiety.
I'd love to believe that Kate was getting help, but the ending is not good.
When Andy revealed that she was battling depression for at least 5 years, no one saw that coming because Kate, she smiled.
Later, further details were revealed in the Kansas City Star that another significant incident had happened before her death.
It was reported that Kate's father had actually talked to her on the phone. He had spoken to her about some prescriptions that she had been taking, and he advised her not to take those pills.
It's possible that in the days leading to Kate's death, she might have felt so positive her father's suggested medication was now unnecessary.
So if you do have bipolar disorder, it's one of those illnesses that medication is critical. The problem is that oftentimes, and this is what happens with psychotropic medications, is that you feel better, so you think you don't need them anymore. And of course, once you stop them, the symptoms come back.
Medical treatments for both bipolar and depression involves a highly tuned dosage for individual needs. It takes time for the body to acclimate. To suddenly remove a patient from that regimen can seriously shock their body. Not only can it trigger withdrawal symptoms and relapse to depression, the resulting mood swing can be enough to risk attempting suicide. If she stopped taking the medication, even over a period of weeks, her mood swings could be severe, which may have led to suicidal thoughts.
It's so sad. This person that had so much didn't have the one thing she needed the most, which was somebody to help her. It didn't seem that Kate did have anybody that she could reach out to.
My mother, unfortunately, took her life a few years ago. There may be a piece of them where that feels like they're helpless, like they can't get help from other people. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. Sometimes we just need help finding that light.
If you are feeling suicidal, there's still such a taboo around that I think, whereas people are happy to say, I'm not great, they're not happy to say the depths of how they're feeling. They're not happy to kind of really explain those darkest moments. I would urge anyone out there, there's a solution to every problem, there really is. We're not made to find every solution alone. We're just not, we're social beings. So it's critical to reach out and ask for help if you need it.
It's clear there were many factors in her life at the time of her death that could have resulted in Kate feeling desperate. But by far and away, the most significant factor was her ongoing battle with mental health. It's a tragic end to a life, and all the more tragic as it was preventable. Despite the warmth and color she exuded in her life and in her brands, it seems ultimately, at the end, Kate was only able to see the darkness.